completed her course, from Sogetsu School of Ikebana. She also have learned floral designing from Belgium. Belgium and German flower arrangement from Dresden School of Floristry. Ma'am was also have completed her learning in landscape designing from California School of Landscape Design. Have participated in lots of national as well as international floral show. If you go to Lalbagh, whenever there is Lalbagh show, make sure that you go and see Sandhya, you have name there. You will see. I always make sure I'll go and take a picture of that and put up in Facebook. So you will see lots of ma'am's, creativity there. And then, and she also got lots of prize, lots of awards. Sometimes you will see even in newspapers, even in, in some of the local news. So that is what a very small introduction about you. And thank you so much, Sandhya, for coming here. And during this time, you were so positive. You were also a part. You always said yes to us, especially to me. Whenever I said, "Can you please take class for IIHM?" and you're so positive. Thank you so much, Sandhya. And over to you. I hope we will had a great time with you, and all the students are waiting to learn something from you today. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for that warm welcome. And I'm so very happy to see you all again after a long time. And of course, I'm really happy to see Nishant, a very dear friend and my boss from Goldfinch Hotel and Movenpick. So,
Thanks.
okay, so should I start with my intro, or do you have another plan? Will Nishant take another session and then you'll come back? Uh,
Sandhya, yeah, you can take the class.
Okay, yeah. Sure. So today's class is basically the title of the class is Meaning of Flowers. So Meaning of Flowers basically started in the Elizabethan period. So let us go back. I'm here to tell you different stories about how flower arrangement came into picture, as well as we will keep doing different flower arrangement here, so that you can learn from me, and then simultaneously do the same arrangement on your desks. Okay, so the first story I'm about to tell you is about the roses, the red roses. So there are thorns in roses, right? All of you know that there are thorns in roses. So how did the thorns come? Basically, with the Greek mythology, it goes like this: that there was Venus, who was the mother of Cupid, whom we all know as the god of love. So there was one day there was white roses in Venus's garden, and what happened was Cupid accidentally happened to go closer to the rose and smell the smell of the rose, and suddenly there was a bee which came out and stung Venus on his lips. Then what happens is Venus runs and comes, saying, "My little son is hurt," and because Cupid will be crying so badly, and she goes very close, and then just takes out the sting from Cupid's lips and places on the stem of the rose. So that is when the thorns started growing on roses. That is a Greek mythology story, what I would say. Over times, flowers have represented a lot of things. So red roses, as we all know, represents love. How did that come into picture? Well, Venus' sister is supposed to be the goddess of love and beauty. So what happens is Aphrodite, goes out in Venus' garden of white roses to meet her lover. who's called Adonis. So when he comes and meets her at night, there's some kind of a sound which comes after their meeting. So the Cupid actually is fast asleep and he suddenly wakes up for that sound, and he suddenly goes out in the garden to see who it is. Aphrodite, however, would have come inside, and there was Adonis who will be running out of the garden. So suddenly, what happens is Cupid takes out his arrow and hits at his leg. So Adonis starts bleeding very badly, and that blood spills on the white roses. That is how the roses, become red. And the red roses basically is the symbol of love, because Cupid hits his arrow to Adonis, and of course, Adonis is the lover of Aphrodite. So that is the story of the red roses. So let's do an arrangement with red roses and some leaves here, what I have got. So back then, flower arrangements, started with making a bunch. Like, there was a hand bouquet which was made. It's 4:30. Then later, slowly, it started. People started doing arrangements. So how were they doing arrangements? Initially, they started using something called the pin holder, like this, okay, which has got thorny pins, steel, copper pins on a steel um, platter. So this was placed, and they started doing arrangement on this. Another way of doing arrangement was the floral frog, which is called the floral frog. Frog is nothing but this. This is a very antique piece which I have from the British times. So this is one of my very oldest collection. So this is a copper container where which is attached with the floral frog on top of this. Okay, so we will do a small arrangement in this, in case, of course, you nowadays you don't find the floral frog, so we use the oasis, of course. So
Sandhya, in the meantime, I would like to welcome, of course, my director from Jaipur campus, Reena ma'am, who has in fact joined in to watch the session as well. Reena ma'am, are you here? She was there. I did see her. I think she should be here. So I've invited even our other campus directors to be a part of the session today and watch.
Oh, wow. That's a privilege, actually.
Over to you, Sandhya.
Yeah, thank you. So first, let us start by, I'm just pouring water inside my container. So I'll just tilt the camera so that you can see it. So I'm just placing this. Otherwise, I would suggest you guys to have a floral foam on top of this. Now, roses is a very tricky flower. And do you know roses is being the most liked flower in the world? How many of you know about it? So we are doing a regular round arrangement today. This round arrangement is used in, you can also do it on lobby desks. You can do it on, the banquet tables. It's always a handy sort of arrangement.
Sandhya, since the students are also doing there from home,
Yeah.
so if we can go little slow, that is what they request.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Thank you. Thank you so
Sure,
much.
sure. So, what I would say is it's a round arrangement. Since it's a round arrangement, first of all, the rule is that this arrangement you have to keep the four corners ready. Okay, one, two, three, and four. Okay, so opposite corners, two opposite corners. If I have to be precise, it should be east, west, north, south. So what I would do here, I would suggest you guys to have the same kind of a material first, okay, and same length of material. Just cut and pin it or whatever you want. Just keep one single same material ready. So here I go. This is a resina leaf I'm using, which I am inserting inside. It's of the same length. Can you see? It's of the same length. All right. So this is east, west. Sorry, north and south is over. Now I'm placing it on the east and the west. Can you see that?
So, Sandhya, if they don't have the same vase, so what will be your suggestion to them? Because some of the students, they don't have the same one. It is the hollow, the vase, which doesn't have this kind of tar here.
Ha,
So,
not a
what? How will you
problem.
suggest
Not a
it?
problem.
Yes.
If it is even a square vase or something like that, you can also plan it in such a way that it is the okay. I'll just show you in another container. So supposing this is my container, okay, behind, and then I'm placing this foam here. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to mark 1, 2, 3, 4 opposite. Understood? Okay. If I take this out and show you about this container, okay, and it is you have to mark here 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Understood? Whatever container it is, even if it's a square container, it's a round, It's a oval container also. I'll show you in the oval container. Supposing you're using this container, oval container. So I'm keeping this foam here. So you plan it in such a way that it is going to be east, west, north and south. Okay? Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
And someone is asking that, ma'am, can you please show how did you fold the leaves?
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Okay. This is the edge of the leaf, right? This is the dracena, right? So what I do is just roll it over behind, roll it behind. Okay. Can you see? It's like that. And just staple it. Simple. It's very simple. Once you roll it over, cut it how much ever you want. Whatever length you want, you can cut it. So that's how you do. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So now we have these ready with us. See, it's really difficult to make arrangements in the floral frog because you have to balance everything and keep it properly and things like that. I want to show one arrangement in this floral frog because I just want to know. I mean, these days you don't get to see any floral frog. Okay,
ನೋಡು ಮಗ
so
ಸೈಕ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಇವರು ನಮ್ಮ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲೂ ಮಾಡಿ ಇಕ್ಕೋಣ ಮಗಾಲೇ ನಮ್ಮ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲೂ ಇಕ್ಕೋಣ ಈ ತರ
okay, can you see
Requesting
this?
students to mute, please.
I think I'll take out the water so that I can lift it up and show. It is like this. Understood?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Now the flower comes in the middle. So how you determine the flower? The placement of the vase. So if you're keeping this vase on a banquet table or something like that, it cannot go very high. And how do you determine the height of the flower? Is the length of the container or the diameter of the container if it's round, the length of the container is this much. Okay, you understood? This is the maximum height the arrangement can go for. I'll just show you. This is the maximum height you can use in this particular container. Do you understand? So this is the maximum height. So I don't want this much of height. So what I'm going to do is, if I put this round arrangement on the banquet table, then if the flower is high, high enough, that will restrict the eye contact of the guests. So what we do is, usually this is the size you take. Okay. So this is the height I'm taking. In case you want to reduce the height also, you can further reduce the height. Got that? Now, this is the focal point. An arrangement, a flower arrangement, first will have directions, which is called the main lines. These are the main lines, okay? The middle one is the focal point in a round arrangement, okay? So once the focal point is set, then there are additional lines. Additional lines goes on the middle of two main lines. That is, let me show you. So supposing these are the main lines, 1, 2, 3, 4 main lines. The additional lines goes in between these two, here, okay, in between these two here, and next in between these two. Understood? So there are 4 more lines you are adding: 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, so I think I'll use the floral form in case, so if I'm using this floral form, I'm going to fix 1 and 2, 3 and 4. The focal point in between. Yeah, step number 2. Step number 3 is the additional lines. So the additional lines is not longer than the main line. It is 3/4 the main line. You understood? And it is placed at an angle above the main line. So supposing, look, I'll just lift up and show you the angle. So this is the additional line which I've placed. The main angle is here. So it is just a little bit of raise from the main line. At the same angle. Got that? So you have the main focal point here, okay, which is just looking right, upright on top. These are the additional lines. Understood? And now I keep filling the other. See, once you have determined the width of the arrangement and the focal point, it is easy for you to fill up the whole arrangement now with different flowers. The round arrangement is the easiest arrangement. That's the reason why I chose this, because many of you will be able to follow me.
So, Sandhya, some of them have cylindrical vase. So, what will you suggest them? Can they make a round arrangement
Of
with
course,
that?
they can make a round arrangement in a cylindrical vase. It's really nice. I mean, like something like this. If you're using something like this, a long, tall container, this is what you meant, right, Ellie?
Yes, yes, because I have seen some student with a, I think, long vase, where
Yeah.
one of them,
So
I
these.
think Nisha has been doing it. Yeah, some of them. So if you can just suggest them, what
So
can be
not a
the option?
problem. You can actually, just I'll tilt it and show it to you. This is the round part. So this is the focal point. The main lines goes on four directions, and the additional lines goes in the middle of those four main lines, and then you start filling up the whole thing. Now, determining the height of this rose, if you're using this container, supposing, what you do is it is this tall. So the vase goes this tall, right? This tall, and this. That's the maximum height you can use. So supposing you want to make a small arrangement also, you can take half of the height of the container and the diameter of the mouth of the container. All right. So that is the height that determines the height of the flower, what you have to cut.
So if you're any advice on picking up flowers, is there, can we pick up any flowers for this kind of round arrangement? Because you are using rose, some of them have pick up, I think zebra and
Oh,
many other different flowers.
yes, you
So
can
yes,
use
can you give us
any
some
flower.
tips? Yeah, tips of picking up flowers and the colors.
Yeah, that's right. So, for a corporate function, supposing you're doing a flower arrangement for a corporate function, um, usually subtle colors are advised to be used, like white or a combination of white and yellow. Okay, that will be very subtle as an arrangement. Or if you're doing some kind of a celebration, some kind of a birthday or something like that, then you can use red and white, because red and white usually signifies celebration.
Students, if you have any questions, please put up in the chat box, especially those students who are making class. I can see some of you very nice. Suba, I can see, and it's great. So please put up in case you want to know more about the flower arrangement, and especially the flower arrangement that you're making now. Anything, any challenges, please do put up here in the chat box. Ma'am will, yeah, make you all understand.
So, of course, white roses are for love, okay, and I'm using something called the gypsophilia. It can also be called as baby's breath. So gypsophilia's significance in a flower arrangement is it is basically, gypsophilia is the native of Eastern Europe. So in Eastern Europe, they use it as a sympathy flowers, and in the worldwide, it is used mainly as trust, everlasting love, and romance. So which actually goes very well with a red rose. So that's why often you can see red rose bouquets teamed up with white gypsophilia. So gypsophilia is also called as the filler in this arrangement, in the arrangement terms. So when I'm using gypsophilia, it is called the filler flower. You can also use something like asparagus with the asparagus berry itself. They look pretty, very, very pretty and very beautiful. Another tip when you're doing a flower arrangement is never show the mouth of the container. So as far as possible, please cover the mouth of the container.
I think that is very important tips. One of the most important tips I would like to take here, because in our second year and third year, when we ask students to make flower arrangement, what happen is they in the end they show us the green oasis. What oasis is basically a brand, but the
Oh,
green foam. So I think just now what ma'am said, you should cover up that. So please take this. I can see Natsuda, our third year, who's making the flower arrangement from Thailand. It's great, Natsuda.
wow.
So
Who's
Sandhya,
that?
we have students in different places, part of India as well as international, and Naksuda is also one. Her mom runs a floral, shop, and
Wow.
she takes care of mummy. Sometimes she helps her, and today she's also here, and she's using. I think she has shown me lots of flowers, and Nakshuda, you can even after this, you can show it to ma'am that this is what you have done. Yes, and goes to all the students too.
So now this is the round arrangement I have made.
Amazing.
So so you can add more red roses if you want. See, when you have a shop or when you're working in the hospitality industry, budget is very, very important. The main, in fact, that's one of the main things you have to keep in mind of the budget. So, what happens is sometimes the guests don't really pay for the flower arrangement. So, what you have to do is you have to just see what is the leftover flowers in the housekeeping department and just bring it and just do a random arrangement and keep it just to make the guest happy. So that time, those days, those times, what happens is you don't have much of flowers. So you should also learn how to make arrangement in a very less of flowers. So what you do is basically you add in a lot of other materials, a plant material, or maybe you can keep some dry stems, something like this. It's called the kangaroo grass. It's the dry material, and then start doing arrangements on top of this. So supposing it's a say this is a combination of red, green, and white. So it is for Christmassy sort of an arrangement. So I can also make it more beautiful. I mean more artistic by using some grass like this. So this I got it in wild. So sometimes you have to go out looking for materials. As a hotel, you get a lot of materials outside in the garden, and you can start using these kind of a material. So I basically picked it up from the wild. I mean, like I told you. Or maybe you will have this ribbon grass, something called the ribbon grass. You can actually bunch a couple of ribbon grasses and start playing with that, maybe. So when you own a flower shop, supposing, the budget again plays a very important role, and you have to make the guest very happy by giving, something out of the blue. So sometimes, you have to do some arrangements which makes them look more artistic and very nice. So
So there's one question.
yeah.
Sometimes a few guests are allergic to certain flowers. So could you please guide us as to how to pick flowers which are almost non-allergic?
Okay. So allergy basically comes from the pollen grains of a flower. So this is the arrangement. This is the arrangement. Right.
It's 5 o'clock.
Got
That's
it?
lovely, Sandhya.
Thank you. So this is one arrangement which I had planned along with my story. So the second story goes like this. So in European age, people used to make flower bouquets. How did the flower bouquets come into existence? Basically, what happened is, those days, girls and guys were not supposed to meet each other in a open, gathering. So, in case a guy likes a girl or a girl likes a guy, to express their love, or if anything, what if they want to convey something to the other person, it was very difficult. So unlike these days, I mean, they show skin, in Europe. Those days, it was not allowed to even show a single skin. In fact, they used to cover the hands with the long gloves till here, and there was long sleeves, and loads and loads of fabric on their body. So in those days, what happened is they started gifting flower arrangement, which actually gave a significance. And those days, there was also a flower dictionary with the name of significance of flowers. Even today, if you go to British Library, you can find that book. So, every flower actually had a significance. That is when they started making a bouquet and sending it to the concerned person. But of course, as time passed, the meaning of flowers have changed, and their significance. Like, for example, the yellow roses were a symbol of jealousy. If a guy and a girl went together, if another person in the colony really felt very jealous of the other person, she would send this yellow flowers to the guy, saying that I'm very jealous of you because you are going with the other woman. So, as time passed by, yellow flowers started signifying friendship. So, there are a lot of different, a lot of significance which changed in India as well as abroad. So, the next arrangement I'm going to do is in a compote. This is called a compote. Okay, there's a shallow container with a stand sort of a thing on top of it. This is called the compote, and I'm going to use a uh, pin holder. How many of you know what material is this? Have you seen this material? Anyone? You can raise your hand. So this is a very simple freestyle arrangement. I'm not, going any deep into the topic. And okay, so the first thing is that, see, When you are cutting the stem, I'm cutting straight because I'm using a pin holder here. So in order to make this stand on the pin holder, I have to cut it straight and then make a small angle, not even 45 degrees, it's only about very negligible angle. Can you see that? Very negligible angle, and then make it stand. Okay, this is the vertical arrangement, if you call it as. So coming to the material, how many of you know what is this? At least have you seen this material somewhere?
Some of them have raised their hands.
Do you know
So
what's
this
the
one-
name of the material?
Sandhya, there's one question in the meantime would like to ask once
Oh, yeah.
a student asks.
Sure.
Do we need to soak the foam completely?
Yeah, of course. See, floral foam is used to hold water. So there is a way of soaking the foam. Good that you asked me this question. So I'll just show you a piece of foam here. So supposing you have to soak this foam. So I will show you a small piece of it. So I have cut two halves here, like okay, I have a glass here, a water filled with water. So there are two ways. Usually, the florists, what mistake florists make is that they forcibly put the foam inside and soak it and just remove it. See, it looks soaked from outside, but it's not soaked inside. So when you cut, see, the water is not holding inside. You understood? So this is not the right way of soaking. Just pressing it inside the water and taking out. No. What you're supposed to do is cut the foam as desired, okay, and just put the foam inside the container and let it slowly soak and sink inside the water. So once it sinks inside the water, the water is completely absorbed inside the foam. So what happens is when you where did I put this? When you put a stem inside the foam, that stem needs water to suck, right? To keep the flower fresh. So in case there is no water inside, then of course the flower will die within 1 day. So if you want the flower to last for long, so you have to soak the floral foam properly. See, this is completely soaked. So when I'm cutting also, there is lot of water, which is pouring out. And completely, it is soaked completely. Did you see that? This is how you soak a floral foam. You have to soak no matter what. In case you soak it half and half, I'll tell you that also. The floral foam just goes for a toss, and for the second use, you can't use the floral foam. You will be wasting the whole foam. So, how many of you know the name of this? How many of you know the name?
Ma'am, is it cattail for flowers?
No, it's not cattail.
Someone said, is it fountain grass?
Yeah, commonly known as fountain grass. Okay, agreed. But why fountain grass? Why is it called fountain grass?
We have mute them, so you
Okay.
can write it down here.
So basically, this grows in a marshy area. First of all, this material is called bulrush. It's called bulrush plant. So it grows in a marshy area, and it holds a lot of water inside. If you can see the tissues inside, they're very spongy materials. So what you have to do to keep retain this for a longer time is when you cut it and get it home. So what you do is just take a syringe full of water and then inject the syringe inside one of the tissues. You know, one pears or two pears, just inject the water inside and put it inside the bucket of water and keep it. This will stay fresh almost for more than 15 days if you take care of it once you cut it. So that's the whole thing. Now I'm going to use gerberas. So I'm using orange gerberas here because it goes well with the contrast. The brown and orange goes really well with each other. Okay, do you see that? So the color contrast goes very well with each other. So when it comes to gerbera, when you're buying a gerbera from market. So today morning I went to the market and bought these gerberas, okay? And I could very easily tell this is about 4 days old gerberas, but still it looks very sturdy and nice and fresh. How do I find out? It's with the stems. Can you see this? The stems are being cut in such a way that it is just straight here, and you can see the stems have taken too much of water, and also I can see a tint of brown here. All right, so first of all, when you are selecting a gerbera, you should understand it's a hollow stem. Can you see this? There's a hollow inside. So once you take this gerbera, always cut the gerbera in an angle. Okay, here also, even if I'm using a what is that, pin holder, I'll be cutting it at an angle. I'll just show you. See, I cut it at an angle. What I did was I used the bulrush stem because it's the more sturdier stem than the gerbera stem. So I give a support when I place the gerbera there. So I give a support in front so that it stands at my angle. And some people do the wiring method. I will just explain what is the wiring method. Just a second. Well, there is a lady called Ekaterina in Belgium. So, she does beautiful flower arrangements in terms of ikebana arrangements. So she was the one who recently taught in one of her, live sessions about this particular arrangement. It's actually not, complete ikebana style, but it's a, freestyle, I would say. Just to give it a beautiful angle. Yeah. I'll just place this arrangement here so that you can have a clear view. So this is a very freestyle arrangement. Okay, I have given a triangle here and another triangle here at two different angles, and I have used gerbera flowers. So I'm just using two more gerberas here so that I fill up the gap.
So is this also called as ikebana?
Yes, this is called ikebana. Yes, it's a freestyle ikebana arrangement.
Okay, thank you. So, Sanjay, can you tell a little bit about ikebana since you're making a freestyle ikebana? Because students, mostly first years, might not know what is ikebana.
Yeah.
So, second year and third years will know.
Sure,
Yes.
sure. So, ikebana is an art of arranging flowers in a Japanese style. So, Japanese style because in during the World War II, I mean when the Buddhism came into picture. So, what happens is Buddhists start cultivating plants and keeping it in front of the Buddha statue. So, slowly they invent a art of making flower arrangements with only two or three, lotus flowers. So later, it happens to be a bigger art, saying there are lines and there are main lines, there are fillers, and as I showed you in my previous arrangement, there are a lot of elements to it. So each element signifies a element on the universe. Like for example, we have the Shin So Hikai in Sogetsu school of Ikebana. Shin is nothing but the heaven, So is the man, and Hikai is the earth. So you have three angles which we fix in Ikebana at Sogetsu school of Ikebana. So there are different other schools of Ikebana, which is also called the Ohara school and the Ikinobo school. They are Ikinobo is one of the oldest schools existing in Ikebana in Tokyo. So Sogetsu is more an modern art comparatively than the Ikinobo arrangements. Like for example, Sogetsu also uses glass containers for their arrangement, which is not allowed in Ikinobo school of arrangement, Ikebana. So um, a brief, a brief about Ikebana is that Ikru is to arrange, Bana is flowers. So, to arrange flowers in Japanese language, in Japanese style, is called Ikebana. Okay, so what happens in Ikebana is they have a lot of, Japanese believe in a lot of, what is that? They are very orthodox and they believe in a lot of things like um, the usage of four flowers in their arrangement. For example, if at all I'm using one single, kind of a flower or a kind of a leaf, I have to be very careful that I'm not supposed to use four number of leaves or four number of flowers. It's simply because Japanese believe that four people carry a dead body. So four is not a you know good number to be used in a flower arrangement. So that's a very small thing. And also, they use a lot of colored flowers in Japanese. I will tell you another thing. They have festivals which are girls festival and the boys festival. So to signify the boys festival, they make an arrangement called the Chabana arrangement. Cha in Japanese is also called as tea. So the tea time arrangement. So the tea ceremony is considered to be a biggest ceremony, which they on a common basis they everyone go through that tea ceremony. So in tea ceremony, what they do is they use a lot of blue color flowers, and they use one single blue flower for signifying the boys' festival, and the girls' festival is always the usage of pink flowers. Especially five pink flowers are used for a girls' festival. So I don't know the story behind why single blue flower and five pink flowers. I'm not sure about it, but this is how this arrangement is done. So another story about, very ancient story I would like to tell you about the Indian floral art is in India. Sri Krishna. Everyone knows about Sri Krishna. So what happens is Sri Krishna had multiple wives that everyone knows. The first wife of his is Rukmini, whom he loved so much, and the second wife was Satyabhama. There are a lot of stories of Rukmini and Satyabhama those days, because Satyabhama was always, thinking that Krishna loves her better than Rukmini. And the truth was, Satyabhama was also loved by Krishna, but Rukmini was the most loved one. So what used to happen is there was this argument between Satyabhama and Rukmini, saying there is this there's this flowering plant from Indra. Indra is as you all know, is the god of heaven. So Satyabhama says there is a Rukmini says there is this plant which is called Parijata plant from heaven. So I want that plant to be planted in my house because those flowers are very fragrant and very beautiful to look at. If you have seen those small jasmine like flowers with orange stems on top of it, that is the flower what I'm talking to you about. So Satyabhama overheard about Rukmini's conversation, whose house was just next to Rukmini's house. So the moment Krishna enters Satyabhama's house, Satyabhama happens to say, I want the flower of heaven, which is Parijata, from Indra's garden. So Krishna is at a fix. So he has to prove for both of his wives that he loves them equally. So what Krishna does is basically gets the plant and plants it in Satyabama's house. And not many of them know that if you plant that plant in one side, the flower falls by morning. The flower falls on the other side of um, the plant. So what happens is Satyabhama's house will have the plant, but it will shower flowers in Rukmini's house. So that is one more story, a very, very ancient, very popular story, folklore, which Indians believe in. So, Ellie, do I have some more time to make some more arrangements?
I think Sandhya, let it be for today because yes, I know we would love to listen more from you because you know me. Like
Yeah.
students, I've been listening to ma'am's story on flowers, and I remember one night till 12 o'clock we were making flower
No
arrangement.
one.
One of the yes, till 1 o'clock, and I still cannot forget it. It's so interesting, so interesting. But yeah, today since it's already yeah, we shall call ma'am once again and we will listen more on flower arrangement and learn more on flower arrangement. Yeah,
Oh,
that's
wow.
what, Sandhya. Thank you
It was
so much.
wonderful with you, audience. And meanwhile, can I see all of your
Yes, that is
arrangements?
what. So we would like to show all the flower arrangement to you. So can we, yes, Deblina can help us so that Sandhya ma'am can see and any feedback you want to give it to a student because it's, I really appreciate all the students, you know, they went, they pick up flowers and then it was great seeing all
Wow.
of them here. Yes, so, yes. So who is this?
Ah, who's
Yes,
this?
Harshita. Amazing.
Wow.
So yes, so we are just taking a picture from here too.
Now, in this arrangement, if you can observe, the focal point is the palm leaf. It's not the flower, but the palm leaf. Can you understand? Do you understand,
Yes,
all of you?
yes, yes.
Yeah.
You can unmute it. Yeah, then.
Oh,
Next is Noshat. Noshat has made a lovely flower arrangement. Noshat, can you just
nice.
pick up a little bit and show it to ma'am? So
Wow.
pull it up a little bit up, Noshat. A little more up so that ma'am can see and give you the feedback, though it's lovely.
It's lovely, but you have to improve on arrangement. The flower towards me, towards the camera, is a little shorter. So you make it a little taller, and then make it come out even more. And you have to, cut those leaves because the leaves cannot overpower the flowers. Do you see my arrangement? None of the leaves have overpowered the flowers. So you have to trim the leaves on top. Otherwise, for a fresher, it is good.
Yes, thank you. Who is next? Yeah, whoever is showing,
Sanket.
just put, huh?
Sanket.
Sanket, just put it up. Yes.
Ah, beautiful. Where are the leaves? You should have used a lot of leaves on the sides so that it would have looked even more beautiful. But otherwise, the arrangement is perfect. But everything is looking up, looking on top. Often, florists make mistakes like this. So, if I may show this particular arrangement. So, I've used flowers here. So, when you're seeing vertically, then it is filled with flowers. But the arrangement is kept like this. So, the flowers is looking on top. So, you should also keep flowers which is facing on the sides. That's why I mentioned on east, west, north, south. You understood? So that's one mistake you have to rectify.
Thank you. Yes, thank you so much. And I think what ma'am has said, like east, west, like we need to face. I think next is Nakshada from
Ah,
Thailand.
wow. Nice to see
Yes.
you.
In the meantime, all of you, please take a selfie or a photo with the flower arrangement that you made and send it to
And
Orcasa.
by the way, what is the material you have used? Do you know the material, white color material you have used?
Yeah, Nakshada, you can, I think she's muted. Can we unmute Deblina?
Yes, ma'am.
So Sandhya, you can ask her. She can be on your
So,
talk now.
what are the materials you have used? Of course,
Well,
red.
actually, ma'am, actually, I could not know the name in English. So,
Okay.
yes, ma'am.
So-
but in my country, we will like kind of the flower. We will do is like this.
Okay, so that white color flowers are called status. For
Yes, ma'am.
others information, this is status, and this
It's
flower
5:30.
is very beautiful and very important in flower arrangement, because once you have used that flower arrangement, you can actually take it out, dry it, and keep it. It looks the same when it is dried also. That is the speciality of this arrangement. And the other leaves she has used is the ferns, which is also called the leather fern. The arrangement is beautiful, Natali, right? Nakshuda. So the flower arrangement is beautiful. If you could add more red roses to it, it would look even more beautiful. Wow.
Yes.
Who's this?
Huh? This is Elvis.
Elvis. Oh wow. Mr. Elvis, this has come out well. Of course, it's not a round flower arrangement. I would expect you to cover the oasis more. But the design has come out really well. So, what are the flowers you have used here? What are the materials?
Elvis, you can unmute yourself.
Yeah, no, the roses I've used.
And the leaves you have used is Boston fern. I hope you're getting it's Boston fern, gerberas and roses. I think he's used the ribbon grass for putting the ribbon on top. This looks beautiful, but you have to fill up your the base of the container. This looks
Yes.
fine. with that.
Perfect. Good. So, Debina, let this be the last for today.
Okay.
And students, what I'll do is, you all will take photo with yourself pictures, and I will send to Sandhya ma'am. She will give the feedback, and I will give the feedback to each one of you.
Okay.
Wow, that's perfect. That's
Yeah,
perfect.
that's all.
Yeah, this arrangement is also good, but you have to add some flowers looking in the side. Please cover the mouth of the container more with fillers.
Who's? Huh? This is made by Kushum. Yes.
Kusum,
Very
yeah.
well done. Nice.
Nice.
So yes, so since we are running out of time, Devina, can we just take out all the spotlight and all of us can be in one frame? We can see, and yes, and I shall hand it over to Sonu so that we can call ma'am next time once again, and she can take class on this. And student, please send your selfie pictures, video photos to Orkasa so that we can send you personal feedback, and we will love to put all your pictures with your photo in the Facebook because you all have done an amazing job. Yes, Sonu, over to you.
Thank you, ma'am. That was indeed a new learning and inspiring words from you. I would like to call upon our director, Ms. Sanchari Chaudhary, for a vote of thanks. Ma'am, over to you.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am, we can hear you.
Good evening, all students. Thank you, Sonu, and thank you, Ellie and team, and definitely thank you, Sandhya.
Thank you so
This was
much.
an incredible session. I mean, I really loved the way, so patiently you have arranged such a beautiful, bouquet there. And of course, the flower arrangement done by all the students was incredible. I think it was great participation by the students who were involved. And, for the very first time, they have done it, and they've done it virtually, getting all the detailing on virtual space, and yet indeed they have done it so beautifully.
Yeah.
So I think congratulations, students, and I'm sure it was a great learning by Sandhya today. And Sandhya, keep spreading this happiness,
Oh,
the
thank
joy,
you
and
so
definitely
much.
this fragrance through your beautiful flowers to everybody. It really means a lot to us, and we are so happy to have you today during this particular beautiful flower arrangement session. And we look forward to more stories from you. The beautiful stories of flowers, on the tulips, daffodils that you were talking about was so nice, and relates to so many beautiful things. And I think that was incredible. A lot of great learning and education of flower arrangement for students today. Thank you very much for this.
Thank you
Amazing.
so much for inviting me and giving me this opportunity to show this flower arrangements. Whatever little I could do, I did. So I would look forward for more opportunities like this. Thank you so much, Sanchari.
Thank you, Sandhya.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Ellie, and everybody.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. And thank you, Orca, Prakash, Deblina, Sweta, everyone who helped us in the background to make us this even a very successful one. And we still have more days.